Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Heta Patel from IAP Digital Media Team. I'll be host for the today's webinar with the resource person Dr. Vani Kamath, and it is being organized by IAP Women's Cell. The Indian Association of Physiotherapists is the oldest and largest association representing physiotherapists in India since 1955. The IAP digital media team consists of a group of physios who handle Zoom platform, webinar live streaming, and IAP profiles on social media platform Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Follow IAP profile on this social media to receive the notification of our events such as webinars, workshops, CMEs, conferences, health camps, blood donation drive, and to know about the recent updates on physiotherapy. Subscribe to IAP YouTube channel for the notification of our live webinars in the playlist section of this channel. The social media link will be shared in the chat shortly. So for the today's webinar, Dr. Smita Sinde will be the moderator. So over to you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Today we are going to have through IAP Women's Cell Maharashtra State. Dr. Sanjeev Jha is the IAP president. Dr. Ruchi Vasne is the national head. Dr. Pooja Kamble, zonal head. Dr. Suvarna Ganvir ma'am, state coordinator. Dr. Snehal Patil ma'am, state joint coordinator. Dr. Uttara ma'am, state sub coordinator. Dr. Priya Kanade, state sub coordinator, and Dr. Nirali Sangvi madam, state sub coordinator. Now, Indian Networking Committee, IIP Maharashtra State, we have 22 district committee in the state. In Maharashtra, IIP Women's Cell has been conducted many low-cost activities like CME workshops, conference webinar, public awareness campaign, health campaigns, blood donation camps in various districts since 2018. So, and Maharashtra has received the best award for IIP Women's Cell team. Now, we have a networking committee in which we have Dr. Mayura Deshmukh, Sakina Dilwar, Murugmay Outsat, Dr. Ketki Patni, Dr. Smita Shinde, Dr. Krishma Pandey, Dr. Rutvi Gandhi. Then there are two more persons who have been added, Dr. Abhaya Mahadik and Dipti Wadhwa. So these are the team for IAP Networking Committee Maharashtra State. So we will have an introduction for our today's speaker, Dr. Vani Kamath, who has done her BBA in Finance and from SGM Department of Business Management, Mangalore, Karnataka, with distinction. She has completed her MBA in Finance from Department of Business Management, Mangalore, University, Karnataka, with distinction, second topper in the university. She has also completed her PhD in Business Management from D.Y. Patil deemed to be University School of Management with distinction. She has got 22 years of experience in teaching, research and administration experience. She has published 2 books, Financial Account and Mastering Financial Analytics. She is highly passionate about research. She has more than 50 research papers in international and national journals, including Scopus Index and UGC Care. She's been awarded with an outstanding, sorry. She's been awarded with an outstanding research paper by Sasmira's Institute of Commerce and Science in association with University of Mumbai and Shri Sairam Institute of Management Studies, Chennai. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am. Vani, ma'am, over to you.
Yes,
You can
yes,
start.
yes. Yeah. Very good afternoon to one and all. Before I start, I would just like to tell you what is the basic objective of having this event today. Being a Women's Day, I think that this is something which is very, very important for all of us to know about finance, financial literacy, and also financial planning, because it gives an edge over the others. Because if you are financially literate, That means what you know about finances, and no one can cheat you when you enter the financial market. So that is the reason why this basic session is being introduced in today's world, especially on Women's Day. Because women are no longer restricted only to their household or to their kitchens, right? Now they are also equally important like men. And in the case of gender equity and in the Vikasit Bharat 2047, which has become the dream of our Prime Minister, financial literacy is also equally important in this area, because generally it has been observed that even though women work and they are also equally contributing to the finances of the house, it is always the male who makes the financial decisions. Right? Even if they are working, they do not want to take this burden of managing their own finances. That is something which we have all observed over the years. And the ladies who are watching this event, they would also agree to me that out of 100% ladies whom we have, I can say that at least 70% of the ladies have left their financial decisions to their male partners. This is basically why do they do such kind of things, is that because they feel that they are having the office burden, they are also into looking after their children, and they do not want to take this financial burden on themselves. So that's the reason why they don't take finances seriously. But on this Women's Day, being a woman, I would like to pass on the message to all of you, and I would like to eagerly urge all the women who are watching this series, right, that financial planning and financial literacy is something which is equally important for all of us. It is always better if we make our own decisions. If we make our own decisions, definitely then we will also be able to reach the financial freedom, and also we will be financially independent. We don't have to depend on our counterparts for financial literacy. When we can earn on our own and we can also sustain ourselves, and it becomes very imperative for us also to have the financial knowledge and start investing. So at the end of this session, if I am able to get at least 10 to 15 women who can make their own decisions henceforth, and they enter the financial field, I can say that the session that we are conducting here on the eve of Women's Day will be successful. If that does not happen, then definitely it might not be possible for us to achieve the goal that we have set in for ourselves. So if we want India to change, and if we want Vikasit Bharat 2047 to materialize, in that case, women who constitute the majority of the workforce, they should also be financially educated. So that's the reason why I am here. So I'm just going to give you some of the pointers. Smita ma'am just wanted to know, can we have one-to-one discussions here, ma'am? Or should I just take the session and at the end they are going to ask questions, or when I'm taking the session, they can ask the questions? How does it go?
Ma'am, at the end, we will have a question and answer session.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, I'll just explain the concepts to them first, and then we will have the session in the. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me share my screen with you. Screen is just an indicator. The presentation which I am going to do is just an indicator of what we are going to talk about today. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you just increase your volume?
Okay, just a minute. Okay, is it audible to all now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm so sorry if it was not audible in the initial stage. Okay. Okay. So the main objective of having this session is to achieve financial planning. And majority of us know, as women, we all know that there are certain planning which we have done for our family and also for ourselves. Okay, and that is nothing but The kind of financial instruments which are already available to us, we know some of them. We have the things like fixed deposits, we know about post office savings schemes, right? And then we have other investment options like LIC and such kind of things, right? So about which we already know. And we have been investing in these kind of investment sources for the last many years, right? So that is something which we all know. But there is something which we may not be knowing, right? Majority of the ladies, they may not be knowing it because the risk involved in this kind of investment is really going to be very high, right? So on the eve of Women's Day, so my job is to educate you on the investment options which are available to all of us, by the use of which we can all increase our wealth to the highest level, right? That means what? We can always increase our wealth potential, and also we can increase the profit which we basically get in these resources, which we can multiply our wealth, right? So one of the basic requirement of financial planning is how how do we multiply our wealth, right? So that is the basic requirement of financial planning in any of our lives, right? So if you are basically investing in post office savings schemes, or maybe in other investments option like FD, the basic percentage, the rate of return that basically you are get ranges between 5 to 7%. It ranges between 5 to 7%, considering the current economic scenario. So we all know that if you are going for fixed deposits, we all know that fixed deposits basically give us about 5 to 6% rate of return. And post office savings schemes, it can be in the form of NSE, it can be in the form of KVP, or it can be in the form of RD, or any other form which you go, it will give you around 7% return, right? So by having just 5 to 7% returns, do you think you will be able to contribute to yourself, and also you will be able to achieve financial freedom at a very young age? Definitely no. So those who are following these footsteps of investing in fixed deposits and in post office savings schemes, they will not be able to reach the financial freedom at the younger age. So if I consider that you want to achieve a financial freedom at the age of 45. When I talk about financial freedom, what I am going to tell you is that you retire at the age of 45 years. There is a possibility for you to retire at 45 years only when you are able to reach your goal of a particular amount which you have in mind, right? So if you want to achieve that, this session is basically for you, right? Because gone are the days wherein we had to work till 60 years till our retirement and achieve the financial freedom, right? But now there is no requirement, because there are a lot of financial planning options which are available to us, through the use of which we can use, or we can achieve financial freedom even at the earlier stage. So basically, I'm going to, in this session, I'm going to explain you about these things in securities market. So basically, I'm going to take securities market, and all of us are going to become the investors in the future. So by using securities market, how can you multiply your wealth? That is something which we are going to see. Okay, before that, before going to the particular topic as such, let me basically explain what is the rate of inflation in India. If you consider India as such, the rate of inflation is about 7%, right? 6 to 7% it has been over the years. So one figure that we are going to take is about 7%. And now suppose if you are having your investments in traditional options like your fixed deposits, which gives you about 5 to 6% of return, your inflation is more than the returns that you basically get, right? So your inflation is higher than the returns that you get on your investments. So if you consider your net return will be either negative or it will be zero, right? You will have to pay taxes also on that. And then what happens is your net return will be zero or negative. That means, let us take two examples now. There is Mr. A or there is Mr. B. Mr. A invests all his investments in fixed deposits, which gives him only about 5% returns. Whereas Mr. B wants to have quick profits, or he wants to have higher profits, and he wants to create higher wealth. In that case, what will he do is he will invest majority of his investments in mutual funds, in equity market, right, which gives you very high amount of returns, and he basically invests in that. So whom do you think is going to be richer? Right? They both invest for 10 years time frame. If, for example, they start investing at the age of 25, both of them reach the age of 35, and both of them just see what is the wealth that they have created. If you calculate, if you do all the calculations in Excel, then definitely you will be able to come to a conclusion wherein you are going to see that Mr. A has made less amount of profits over the years compared to Mr. B, because Mr. B has invested in options which has given him higher amount of returns. Because it's always mentioned that your mutual funds and equity market always give you a higher amount of returns. It's definitely more than 10%. Right? And your inflation is at 7% and you are getting a return of 10%, that means you are always at a profit. Right? So when you are investing in those investment options which you give you higher returns than inflation, that's the time when you are able to get good amount of profits and good amount of wealth for yourself and also for your family. So please understand this logic. Whenever you go for any kind of investments or any kind of financial planning that you want to do, please stick to the investment option which gives you a higher amount of returns over the years. So today we are going to see, as an investor, what are the things that you need to be understanding in financial planning, especially from the point of view of securities market. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. Okay. So what does money mean to you? First, everything starts from money, right? We work in any organization or we are self-employed basically because we want to make money. The basic purpose of our job is to earn money for a regular basis. So why is money important for us? Money can buy the things that we always aspire for or we've always dreamed for. So you might be aspiring to buy a car. You might be aspiring to buy a flat in a proper city, right? So you require money for that. And the basic objective for earning money is to meet all our expenses, or also along with meeting expenses, we should also be able to meet our dreams, right? The dreams can be basically categorized into three, right? One is short-term dreams. Your short-term goals, you have your medium-term goals, and you have your long-term goals. So what do you mean by short-term goals? Short-term goals are the goals which you are setting for yourself, maybe for 1 year, next 1 year or next 2 years. Medium-term goals are the goals which are above your 2 years. You have about 2 to 5 years of time to achieve those goals. And above 5 years, if you have some goals to be achieved, that becomes your long-term goal. I hope you are clear. So there are three types of goals when you are talking about any your life goal. Right? So short-term goals, you have medium-term goals, and you have your long-term goals. So what happens to your short-term goals? Short-term goals are basically the goal which you have a time horizon of just 2 years. Take for example, I am an individual, right? And I want to have a goal of buying a scooter for my daughter. Right? I want to buy a scooter for my daughter, or I want to buy a bike for my son. So that's my goal. And to achieve this goal, she's going to be 18 next year. So I want to gift her on her 18th birthday a scooter which she is desiring for the last so many years. So that's a gift from my side. So I know that she's turning 18 next year. So in that case, what would I do? I would start planning for that particular goal of mine starting from today. So I have 1 year time horizon. So I should be investing in such investment option which gives me good amount of return so that I am able to buy that particular scooter. Maybe the price of that particular scooter is 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs, right? So I will start planning from today itself. From my salary, I'll keep aside some amount every month in the form of some investments, and then that will be planned accordingly. So this is my short-term goal, because I am going to invest in that particular dream of mine or goal of mine for the next 1 year, and I should have the money saved. Right? The safest options which you have here is now you can, because your time horizon is very less, you can either invest in fixed deposits or you can either even go for SIP, right? Mutual fund SIPs, you can allocate some amount every month. But because you have very limited time frame of 1 year, you will not be able to make very good amount of profits, but definitely you will be able to make profits higher than what you can make in fixed deposits, right? Okay. The second type of goal which I am talking about here is known as medium-term goal. So what happens in medium-term goal? In case of medium-term goal, I have about 5 years of period with me. So I have enough time with me and I know what I need to buy. So I want to buy a car for myself, which is 15 lakhs of rupees, right? The cost of the car is about 15 lakhs of rupees. So I want to buy the car and I have 5 years with me. So what would I do? And I would start investing that particular amount of money every month so that my money gets accumulated over the next 5 years and it becomes 15 lakhs of rupees. Because I have time here, right, and I have the proper allocation also which I can make to a particular investment option, I would always try to choose SIPs here, right? Mutual fund SIPs are always better for me because that will give me the edge over the others. I will be able to make quick money here because I have time, 5 years period with me, right? So that is my second goal, that is short-term goal. Last goal which I have is known as long-term goal or a goal which is beyond 5 years. Take for example, I want to buy a house for myself, right? And I have about 10 years to achieve this goal of mine, right? After 10 years, I would like to buy a flat in a particular locality, the cost of which is about 2 crores of rupees. Right, so what would I do then? I would start accumulating the money. So again, SIPs are the best tools for us to do this. Right, so SIP, that is systematic investment plan. Every month I would keep aside some amount of money from my pocket just to achieve this goal of mine, just to become a owner of a particular flat in a particular locality. Take for example, I'll keep aside 50,000 rupees every month basically to meet this goal. I would like to invest it in equity market. Equity gives me higher returns. It will also have higher risk profile. With higher risk profile, it will also give me very high returns. Okay. So money is very, very important for us because money helps us to make proper decisions related to our investments. And when we take proper decisions related to investments, it becomes easier for us to create wealth for ourselves and also to build wealth for our children. Okay. Okay. So now a small example here. Okay. So when you are earning income, right? So you know that you have a salary which you are going to get every month. Right, for all the working professionals here. So we all know that every month we are going to get salary. So what if you saved and invested rupees 500 every month? What happens when you invest 500 rupees every month? So for first year, you are basically investing only 6,000 rupees, right? You are investing 6,000 rupees. But if you have invested in SIPs, that is mutual fund plans of any plan of mutual fund, especially equity funds, what happens here is you are able to get the compounding benefit, right? You are able to get the compound interest and your money grows year after year, right? So this is something which is known as the eighth wonder of the world, right? So this compounding benefit or the compounding returns which you get on your investments is called as the eighth wonder of the world because suppose if you have invested 6,000 rupees for 1 year, after 1 year, if you see your money would have grown at 7,000 or 8,000 rupees. But if you see the impact of this for next 20 years, if you keep investing the same amount for the next 20 years, definitely it will grow 5 to 10 times. So that is what is the beauty of your compounding benefit. So if you save 500 rupees every month, or if you save 5,000 or 50,000, depending on your income. If your income is high, you can go for higher amount of investments. If your income is less, definitely it does not make sense for you to invest much. But you can start with a small amount, but see that your money grows at a faster rate, right? So it grows at a faster rate. So from 5 years, you can go for 10 years investments and 10 to 20 years of investment. Okay. So can you earn money while sleeping? right? If you want to earn money, even when you are sleeping, right? Is it possible? Majority of you would say that no, it's not possible because we are sleeping, we are not doing any hard work. But it is not the case. Even when you are sleeping, you can make money. How is it possible? There is something which is known as active income and passive income. So you need to understand the difference between active and passive income. So what happens in active income? Active income is the income which you basically get through your hard work every day. For example, you get your salary. So your salary is your active income because you are getting it every month, right? So it's the result of your hard work, right? So it's your active income. What comes under passive income, right? The income which you are getting irrespective of your involvement in that particular activity. Take for example, you have invested in some kind of shares in the market. You get what? You get returns on that. Dividends, right? Dividends you get on that. So that dividend becomes your passive income. Similarly, the interest which you get on your equities, that becomes your passive income. The rent which you get on the investment that you have made in your flat. Suppose if you have bought a flat and you have put it on rent because you do not want to have a self-occupied property or you don't want to stay in that particular property, so you have lent it to others, you have given it on lease to others, so in that case you get rent. So all these are known as your passive income, right? So your active income is that which is in the form of salary. You need to be physically present to get that particular income. So that's your active income. Passive income is the income in wherein you don't have to be physically present, but you can still get that income in the course of time. So that is because of your investment. So you can earn money even while when you are sleeping, basically because it is possible for you to create passive income and then you will be, you don't have to work here. The money which you have earned, that is put into use. Okay. So there has to be a concept, right? All of us know that money loses value over time, right? All of us know. So for those who do not know, right? If you think that money is going to remain constant and it does not lose value, it is not the case. Money loses value over time. So let me explain it with the example, right? So when I was a child, right? When I was about 10 years old, right? So if I had to take any kind of chocolate, simple example, the chocolate was available even for 25 paisa. For one chocolate, I had to pay about 25 paisa. But today, if my children want to have a toffee, right, they need to pay 1 rupee. So why the difference? Right? Why the difference? The chocolate is the same, the company is the same, the wrapper is the same, the content which you have inside the chocolate is also the same. But still, there is a differentiation in price. The basic difference is again because money loses its value over time, right? And it is basically because of your inflation and there is a depreciation which basically happens to the value of money. That is known as present value of money, right? There is a concept which is known as present value of money. That means if you have 1 rupee today, that is more valuable than the 1 rupee that you are going to have after 1 year. So that concept is known as present value of money. Money depreciates in value. If you are not employing it properly, if you are not putting it into various investment assets or asset classes, definitely it is not going to give you good amount of returns. Take for example, if your salary is 50,000 per month. So what will you do? You will withdraw the entire 50,000 rupees and you will put it in your locker, right? You will put it in your locker saying that, okay, I have got 50,000 rupees. So that is the investment which I can make and I'll put it in my locker, right? And you forget about that money which you have kept it in your locker. And for 1 year, it remains idle there. After 1 year, when you suddenly realize that you have kept this 50,000 rupees, the value of that 50,000 does not remain 50,000 even though you count it as 50,000, but the value does not remain 50,000. What do I mean by this? 1 year back, if you were able to buy about 10 dresses, 10 to 15 dresses with that particular amount, right? Branded clothes, which I'm trying to say here, branded clothes with that particular amount of money. right? After 1 year, you will be able to buy only 7 to 8. Why? That same cloth or that same dress which you wanted to buy 1 year back was costing less. And now because you have held it for 1 year, you have lost it on interest. You have lost the money on interest. So that is the loss for you, and you are going to lose money on that, right? So money always loses value over time. So respect money. So only way in which you can respect money is to make it in the form of investment. You need to invest it regularly, and that returns which you get through your investment is something which to which you can add on to your money, and you can multiply your wealth through this business. Otherwise, it becomes very, very difficult for you to get good amount of returns over the period, right? So the moment you get your salary, I request all of you to ensure that you need to put an ECS. You should be able to put it under ECS so that from your account, 10,000 goes to one SIP, the other 10,000 goes to other SIP, 10,000 goes to other SIP, right? One of the advantage which we have here as ladies, right? All of us are women here. So as ladies, one of the advantages is that we are not the primary breadwinners of the family, right? So our income is the secondary income for the family, right? So the male counterparts or our husbands are the primary breadwinners of the family. So majority of the times, the money which we earn can be utilized for savings. The 100% of the amount which we earn can be utilized for our savings, unless and until you have not taken a home loan on your name, right? 100% of your money can be saved for your own purpose, for your betterment of family, right? So ensure that if you do not have any major expenses, right, that may not be the case with all, right, but I feel that at least 70 to 80% would agree with me that if your husband has a stable income, definitely you are not required to contribute for the expenses of the family, right? So definitely you will have 100% of your disposable income that can be put up in the form of investments, right? And ensure that it does not remain just in your bank account. The majority of the ladies with whom I have interacted, what do they say is that, ma'am, money comes to my account every month, salary comes. I feel very happy that the salary has been credited to my account, and I have seen it in my SMS. It comes as SMS, right? I feel very happy. But what I do with that money is it just is in the bank account. I don't withdraw it, neither I do any kind of investment. It is kept idle in the bank account. So ladies, I urge not to do such a mistake in your life. If you have done it in the past, it's okay, completely okay, because nothing can be undone now. What has happened in the past, you cannot do it. You cannot redo it, right? So the basic thing which you can improve here now is don't keep your money idle in your bank account, because it gives you only 2% returns, which is your savings rate, right? It gives you just 2% returns, which is not of any use at all. 2% return is nothing equal to your 10% to 12% returns, right? As soon as the salary comes, the best option which you can do is ensure that from that particular salary, you have created different avenues for yourself. 10,000 goes for your children's education. You can open one children's mutual fund account, and you ensure that that 10,000 goes there. 10,000 for buying a house. If you do not own a house, 10,000 every month or 20,000 every month for buying a house. Ensure that you have some equity fund which you have already created from one mutual fund, and that amount goes to that particular equity fund, right? So if you have 20,000 and 10,000, 20,000 more remains, right? So 10,000, if you like to buy gold, definitely it's not possible for us to buy 10-gram gold with the ongoing prices which are there for gold as well as silver. At least in a month, you can have it in the form of a SIP. You can create an SIP, or you can create a value of 10,000 gold every month, so that in a year you are able to get a good chunk of money, right? So 10,000 can be for gold, and the remaining 10,000 you can utilize for any other benefit. For example, your insurance or anything like that, right? So with this, what you are doing is you are leaving less scope for yourself for expenses. All of us must have heard a famous personality, or you must have read a lot about him in WhatsApp messages or in newspapers. Right? His name is Warren Buffett. He is considered as the investment guru, and he is the fifth richest person in the entire world. So why has he become richer? Basically because of the principles that he adopts in his life, and he has advised all of us to adopt the same principle in our life. So what is that principle which he has always conveyed to us? This principle is generally what happens in India or in everyone's life, right? Everyone basically follows this itself in India. What happens is, as soon as our salary comes, take for example 50,000 rupees is received in our bank account, what do? We spend it in various kind of expenses that we have. So we buy clothes, then we go for shopping, then we go to watch a movie with the family, right? And what remains with us? Around 10,000 remains at the end of the month, right? So that amount is basically put under savings. So what do? Income minus expenses is equal to savings. That's the logic that we all follow in our life. But if you follow this logic throughout your life, you will not remain rich. You will have to work till 60 years or maybe till 70 years. You will have to keep on working because you have saved a very little contribution of your income every month. But on the other hand, how can you become richer? If you want to follow the footsteps of Mr. Warren Buffett, the best way which you can do is income minus savings is equal to expenses. The income minus savings is equal to expenses. When you do this, definitely you are able to achieve the financial freedom at the age of 45. You need not work till 60 years to get the financial freedom. So by doing this, what happens is you have a discipline. You are saving every month 50,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees. I'm not asking you to save entire 100% of your income. You can spend, right? But ensure that majority of your income goes for savings. Automatically, ensure that you have provided the ECS order to the bank saying that this much amount has to go to these options. If you provide that from the beginning itself, then every month your money gets deducted from savings for savings, and whatever remains you can actually spend for various options. So when you do this, definitely you will be able to get good amount of income over a period, right? So money loses value over time. So a wise investor is the one who always invests in those options which gives him the highest returns and considered as a safer investment option. Right? So the best investment option, which according to me, based on my experience, I would like to share with you all, is the SIPs. Please start your SIP based on your goal. Right? If your goal is to buy a car, start your SIP today itself. If your goal is to buy a house, start your SIP today itself. If your goal is to give good education to your children, start your SIP today itself, because money loses its value. If you keep the money idle at your house or in your locker, it is not going to give you any returns, right? So that is something which we all need to understand. Okay, as I said, money grows over time, right? Give some time to the money also to grow, right? We have all heard the proverb, which is that money does not grow on trees. That's 100% correct. Money grows over time only through your investments. When you do a proper investment in different options which are available to you, only in that case you will be able to get compound benefits. Compound interest means what? Your interest gets added to the principal, and when you calculate the interest for the next year, you are not calculating it only on the principal, you are calculating it on your interest plus principal. That means, suppose if you have invested 10,000 rupees and 10% is the rate of return, right? At the end of first year, you are going to get about how much? 11,000 rupees. So from the second year onwards, you are calculating the interest on 11,000 rupees and not on 10,000. That means interest gets added. Suppose if you have had this amount at home without investing, that interest is something which you have lost, and the compound interest is also which you are losing, right? So in that case, it's always advisable for everyone to invest in better investments options which are available to us. So compound interest is considered as the eighth wonder of the world, and it is something which is very important for us to understand. And longer you save, the longer you keep invested in the market, the longer will be the return, or higher will be the returns that you are going to get. Right? So that is your compound interest. Okay. So now moving on to the securities market, let me make two things very clear to us. These are the two investment options which are very, very important for us in securities market, that is mutual funds and equity markets. Okay, so let me basically explain what it is and how does it impact our lives through mutual funds and through equity market. Okay, so now what do you mean by mutual funds, right? So let me first explain the concept to you. You must be investing in your regular course of time, right? But still, for those who are not yet invested, I would like to give a brief of what mutual fund is, how it functions, and what you are supposed to do in mutual funds. Let me explain that concept to you. So when it comes to mutual funds, what happens in mutual funds is you have about a particular amount of money and you want to invest that mutual fund in mutual funds. So like you, there are some others also who would like to invest. So they will also invest in these mutual funds. So everyone puts the money together, right? And this a mutual fund manager basically performs the role of an integrator. You can say that he is the aggregator who takes into consideration all the money which has been invested by you. So there are two investment options as an investor. Suppose if you want to invest in mutual funds, you have two investment options to invest. Right? One is through lump sum investment and the other one is through SIP. So what happens in lump sum investment? Now suppose you have accumulated cash over the years, you have not invested anywhere, and your salary account shows 5 lakhs of rupees. Right? In your salary account, you have an amount of 5 lakhs of rupees. And you want to grow this. You don't want to keep just 5 lakhs rupees. You want to grow this 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs of rupees or maybe 15 lakhs. So what would you do? You would invest in any one of mutual funds. When you talk about mutual funds, there are three types of options that you have. Right? You can invest in equity mutual funds. Let me explain what is equity mutual funds. So equity mutual funds are the mutual funds wherein the mutual fund managers or the fund house managers, what do? Is they invest majority of the portion of your investment in equity market. Equity market means they will invest your money in companies, like listed companies which are in India. So we all know that there are two exchanges, BSE and NSE. So any of the companies which are listed in this, right? It can be a FMCG sector, it can be a retail sector, it can be a automobile sector, it can be a pharma sector, healthcare sector, whichever sector it is, based on the sector performance. This mutual fund manager basically looks into the research reports of all these companies and basically he invests your money in the stock market, right? And when the stock market really performs well, you are able to get a good amount of returns here. So because you have invested in equities, right? So how much proportion should you be investing? Now you would ask me question as to how much proportion you should be investing in equity markets. Okay, so for that also there is one criteria which has been given by investment experts. All of us know our age, right? All of us know our age. Take for example, on an average, whoever is present here, your age is about 40 years. So what would you do? 100 minus 40, right? 100 minus 40. 100 is the standard benchmark you consider. 100 minus 40. So the result is 60. 60% of your income should go to equity mutual funds. Remember, 60% of your income should go to equity mutual funds. And the remaining 40% you can put in any kind of other options which are not equity mutual funds. It can be fixed deposits, it can be gold, it can be in real estate, or it can be in any debt investment options, it can be in bonds, etc. But If you are earning 50,000 rupees, 60% of your income should go to equities. So 60% of 50,000 works out to be 30,000. So invest 30,000 in equity mutual funds, and the remaining 20,000 you can put in any kind of options. If you want to create your wealth or if you want to increase your wealth, that's the best option that you have here. Right? I hope it is clear. So that is about your equity mutual fund. Equity mutual funds gives you high amount of returns, right? It gives you in the range of 12% to 15% returns because you have invested in high risk, high return investment option. Equity mutual funds give you very good amount of returns. Right? What is the logic? Now, majority of you will say that the market is not doing well now because the Sensex is down, because geopolitical conditions are also not nice. So how can I invest in equity market when I know that this is a bad situation for my country, right? So in that case, also you don't have to worry at all. Just keep investing for 5 to 10 years. The situation which we are currently in is not going to last forever. All of us know that. We had COVID, right? We faced COVID and we saw COVID, and it was not for forever. It was existing only for maximum 2 years, right? So from 2020 to 2022, we could see the repercussions of COVID. After that, the situation is normal. And in fact, if you consider our country, our economic situation has gone up after 2022. Right? We are considered as the third largest economy in the entire world. Right? So when we know such a situation, a particular situation is not going to last forever. Any situation will have a temporary impact of about 1 year or 1.5 years. Right? So even in this 1 year, if you feel that your investment is not going to grow, keep investing. I'm giving you my experience. I'm telling you from my experience because I have been investing in both the options, that is mutual funds and equity market, for the last 20 years. Based on my experience, I'm giving you this advice. And being a woman, when I can invest, you can also invest. Right? So let me give my own story here. Right? So I started investing in mutual funds since 2006. Right? And suddenly what happened was, we all know the crisis which happened in 2008, right? There was a depression which happened in 2008, because of which the Sensex came down. But I did not stop investing, even though my portfolio was showing negative results. I did not lose heart. I kept investing in that, and I kept on investing. Again in 2020, we also saw COVID. At that particular time also, my portfolio was in negative. But I did not get disheartened. I still kept investing in SIPs. Right? And still I'm continuing in SIPs. So what happens because of this? See, there are ups and downs in the market. We all know that the market is not going to remain stable. There is a volatility which is going to happen in the market. We all know that there is up and down. So when there is down in the market, our Sensex goes down, what happens to your investments? You are at a benefit. Do you all understand this logic? When the market goes down, you are going to get more number of units, especially when you are investing in mutual fund. Please keep this in mind. Right? And when the market is at the top, you are going to get less number of units. Right? So when you get less number of units, what happens? Definitely, you will not be having good amount of profits, even though your NAV will be high, right? Your NAV will be high, but you will be able to sell when the market is up. You should always buy when the market is down. So that is the logic which you should be all applying. We all know that the geopolitical tensions are there in the market, but this is the right time to invest, right? I would suggest this is the right time to invest and keep investing. Even when the market goes up, don't stop investing, because there is a concept of averaging which works out here. What do you mean by averaging? Right? Averaging means when the market is up, you will get less number of units, but when the market is down, you will get higher number of units. So when you average average it out, you will be always at a benefit, or you will always be at a profit. Right? Take a simple example. When you go to the market, you have 1,000 rupees and you want to buy some product. Take for example, mango. You want to buy a mango. Right? So what will you do? We all know that mango is very cheap in Ratnagiri because it has got lot of manufacturing, it has got lot of cultivation happening there, right? And in Mumbai, it is going to be on an expensive side. So what would you do? You will buy from that 1,000 rupees some amount of mango from here and some amount from Ratnagiri. So what will happen? Your average cost comes down. If you buy entire amount from Ratnagiri, definitely it's good. But Ratnagiri is far from here. We will not be able to go there every now and then. Right? So what will we do? 50% from here, 50% from there. If you buy, your averaging result is always going to be good. So that logic basically works in your mutual funds, especially in SIPs. When you are buying, keep on buying units, when the market is up and down, there is a benefit of averaging which happens, and your money is going to become 10 times within a very shorter period of time, right? 5 to 10 times it is going to grow, but you need to be keeping investing. You need to keep investing for about 10 years or so. Right? The maximum period, 10 to 20 years, you can keep investing. There is no problem of losing out money, especially in case of SIP. And this is not just for the sake of saying, I'm saying, it is from my own experience I'm telling you, because I'm investing in SIPs for the last 20 years. Right? And there is a good amount of returns which I have earned over the years. So I would suggest all of you to also follow the same. Okay. So SIPs are the best investment options for us. And then you suppose if you don't want to follow SIPs, you can invest in lump sum also. In case of lump sum, it's a one-time investment. You don't have to invest it every month. So one-time investment you can make, and then you can sleep over it, and whenever you want to sell or whenever you are in requirement of a particular amount, you can basically sell that. Okay, so that is your mutual fund all about. Coming to your equity market. So what happens in equity market? So in case of mutual fund, what do? You are allotting someone else to invest in the market. You are giving your money and asking someone to invest in the market. So that someone else who is a mutual fund manager will do entire research and he will invest on your behalf. And because you have given your money to him, definitely he will charge some commission, but that commission is very negligible amount. But because his commission is also involved in that, so he would always try to see that you get good amount of profits, because his commission is also at stake, right? If he does not give you good profits, definitely he's not able to get his remuneration. Okay, so now that is about your SIP and your lump sum. Now, in case of mutual fund, you are actually doing a passive investment. Right? You are allocating your money to a mutual fund manager. He is going to invest in the market. But when it comes to equity market, you are doing active investment. That means what? You need to have complete knowledge about the company in which you are going to invest. Right? It can be any sector. You can take any sector for that example, but you need to study that company and then invest in that company. Right? So in equity market also you have two options. Right? One is your direct investment, which you do, right? And that is through your IPO, and the second investment, which is in secondary market. So in case of primary market, what happens is some of the companies which are not yet listed in the stock market, they want to come to the market and they want to enter the market for the first time. Right? So in that case, what happens? They will go with the IPO procedure. And if you are interested in investing that particular company, you invest for the first time in that company. So when you enter the IPO market, the application amount is very less and you will get shares at a lesser price. But if I am buying the share in the secondary market, the share price is always going to be on a higher side. Right? So that is something which you need to be basically understanding the concept. Equity market is going to be highly risky because If you have not read the market fundamentals, if you have not done the research properly, then there is a possibility of losses also. So you need to know the company, you need to know the financials of the company. Only in that case you can invest, right? But mutual funds are not like that. It is more or less safe because your mutual fund manager will do all the research and invest in your behalf. Okay, there are certain scams also which are happening in the market, so we need to be very much careful before we do any kind of trading in the market, right? So there are a lot of fake trading apps which are available. So we need to be well read, and before downloading any kind of apps, right, we need to be checking whether this app is proper or not, right? And only in that case you need to be downloading those apps. Always buy any kind of product, financial product from registered intermediaries. If there are unregistered intermediaries, let me explain what it is. Okay, so now there are n number of people in the market who would say that, okay, I am an intermediary from this organization and you buy products from me. So you will not check into their details. And just by believing them, if you give your money to them, then definitely you might be under trouble. So always check for their identity cards. Just ask them, because if you are wanting to invest in mutual funds, then you have mutual fund distributors who basically try to sell you the mutual funds. So you need to be asking them for the ARN number, which is provided by AMFI. Just check their ARN number on the AMFI website, and if that ARN number suits with the AMFI's website, definitely they are the authentic ones. You can do the investments with them, right? Similarly, brokers, right? There are brokers who need to be registered with SEBI. So just go to the SEBI website and just check whether they are genuine or not. So if you want to invest in shares, you will have to go through brokers. If you want to invest in mutual funds, you will have to go through mutual fund distributors and check their authentication on the websites. And only when you are convinced that they are authentic, only in that case you can do the investment, right? So please, there are a lot of scams. So you must be reading on the newspaper on a regular basis that this person was tracked for this much amount, right, through online fraud or something like that. So these are also going on in the market. To be extra careful, do not share your OTP, do not share your passwords with anyone, user ID and password with anyone. Be extra careful whenever you are doing any kind of financial transactions. So with this, I would like to end the session. If we have any doubts, you can ask. So that is the basics which I have made you understand. Okay, so if you have any questions, please ask.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
open for questions.
How to search in which SIP we should invest?
Okay, so the first, to answer this question, let me first make you understand your risk profile. Okay, so first you need to understand what is your risk profile going to be. There are 3 types of investors in the market. You need to understand which category is yours. Then it will guide you as to which is the best investment for you. Okay. Okay, I'll give you 3 instances. Do you come under the category of a person who wants to invest a particular sum of money and wants to make quick money within 1 year or 2 years? If you are that investor, in that case, you come as equity investor. So you need to be investing in any kind of mutual fund, which is basically into equity mutual funds. There are a number of options which are available. Go for authentic ones, which you have heard many times from others, right? Like there are a lot of government organizations or semi-government organizations which have come up with the mutual funds. So you can just inquire about that with your mutual fund distributor, and you can become a mutual fund investor. But understanding your risk profile is very important. If you want higher returns at a very less amount of time, you are an equity investor, invest in equity mutual funds. If you are a safe investor, you don't want to take any kind of risk, but if you want your principal to be safe, if you have invested 10,000, you want to get that 10,000 with some amount of returns. If you are that kind of person, debt funds are better for you. In mutual funds itself, you have a fund which is known as debt fund that gives you around 7% returns, right? So you can invest in that. If you are coming in between, right, you want good returns also, but you want your money to be safe. Then you are calling yourself as a moderate investor. So in that case, there are some hybrid funds which are available in the mutual funds, which invest 50% in equity and 50% in debt. So you will get about 10% returns in this, right? So identify which type of investor you are based on your risk profile and invest accordingly. Right? There are a lot of mutual fund houses which are available. You have many. I don't want to name here because it's a public platform. I don't want to recommend any also here. Right? So you make your own research or consult some of the mutual fund distributors who are there in the market with their proper ARN number, right? And who have good knowledge about it, and then you can just do the investments, right? Yes.
Ma'am, is it safe through going through the broker or personally?
Okay. Oh, good question, ma'am. See, I forgot to mention this to you. I just spoke about mutual fund distributor. There is one more option. You don't have to go to any mutual fund distributor. You can do your investments on your own, right? So for that, you need to have all your KYC documents done with CAMS. So once you do all your KYC documents with CAMS, then you are eligible to do your investments directly. You don't have to approach anyone. You can just do it through your Google search. You can type the name of the mutual fund in which you want to invest. Right? Once you do the login, the mutual fund will give you login credentials, user ID and password. Right? You can just you utilize that user ID and password, and you can do your investment yourself. The benefit of doing your investment yourself, direct investment, which is called, is that you will not have to pay any commission, and NAV is also less, right? You will have a lesser NAV, that is net asset value, is always less compared to the NAV, which you will have to pay for a mutual fund distributor, because commission is also involved in that. So you can easily go for your own investment, right? This option is not available to you. The other option is that if you have a brokerage account which you have already opened, there are n number of brokerages which are basically open, because whenever you invest in shares, you will have to have a brokerage account opened with any of the brokers, right? So if you have the brokerage amount directly, you can visit that particular website of the broker and you can do your investment on your own, right? So that option is also available to you. So investing on your own through direct investment is always better, because you are going to get higher amount of returns on that, because NAV is always less on that.
Ma'am, one more question, sorry. When there are few classes going on for the financial planning or the investments by mutual funds, how worth are there and how to feed them?
How to?
Faith on that people, if they are not a fake people, or
Are
the
they
invest.
charging? Are they charging some money, or is it free?
Yeah, means they are charging to less amount, like on Instagram and Facebook, we find to know it. We see
Okay.
all the advertisement. So on that purpose, if we do that or attend that classes, how is that going to be beneficial?
Okay. See, ma'am, I would recommend you to go through YouTube videos which are available, which are freely available in the open market, because of our social media. YouTube videos are freely available. So go for any of the YouTube videos which are accessible to all. You don't have to pay anything for that, because our social media has grown in such a faster rate in India that it is all available free. Right? So you don't have to enroll yourself for a course on financial planning to understand financial planning. That's what I feel. Right? So there are a lot of scammers also who are having such kind of things. And they say that we will give you free investment advice, or you join our course, we'll give you free investment advice, and many of the things. Right? But majority of the times that does not work out, right? And the government has also banned such many of those people who basically say that, right? So I would suggest you to go through the YouTube videos which are available freely, right, on financial planning. Financial planning is not a tough task to understand. It's very easy, right? By looking at the videos and literature which is available on your Google or ChatGPT, you can basically understand how it works.
Ma'am, for a female, if she's having a husband, but still she want to have some her financial planning, as she has her income tax gets cut off, right, at the year end. So for that, in short, what ideas you can give her to do her investments?
Yeah. Okay. So now when it comes to income tax, there are two types of income tax that we can basically choose as a salaried individual. There are two types of regimes which the government has introduced. One is the old regime and one is the new regime. Right. So under new regime, the basic benefit that we have is only for house loan. Right. It is if you are taking a home loan, definitely the interest that you are paying, you will get the benefit of that on the tax. But apart from that, there is no other benefit. There is no other benefit which you get on any of your savings. But if you go for old regime, right? If you go for old regime, you have lot of options which are available through which you can save tax. Like you can invest in a public provident fund, and if you are investing up to 1,50,000 in a year, you will get the tax benefit. So you go for that. So you can go for, if you are following the old regime, I would recommend you to go for public provident fund, because the returns which you get on your public provident are tax free. You don't have to pay any money on that. So whatever is the bracket, which is 1,50,000, invest in public provident fund. And if you have loan and you are paying interest of about 1,50,000 every month, in that case, you don't have to go for that investment option also. So, one of the way in which I have observed as a person of finance, right, new regime always gives you better returns. You don't have to save majority of the investment option. But as an individual, because I am habituated to invest in PPF, or I am habituated to invest in NSE and other investments options which saves my tax, I will always do it irrespective of whether it is there in tax or not. But I would suggest PPF is the best option in which you can basically invest, because it's a government fund, right? And the government never defaults in its payments. So that is something which we all know. And it gives a decent return of about 7 to 8% also. So PPF investment is always a better return, better investments from the tax perspective, right? And that PPF does not attract any kind of tax, but I would recommend, as a lady, all of you should go for new regime. Yeah, if you go for old regime, then you will be paying higher tax compared to the new regime. Right? And in case of old regime, you will have to do a lot of investments, like insurance premium is considered, right? And then your fixed deposit, if you are investing, that is also considered for tax benefit and all, right? So for new regime, you don't have to do all these investments, right? But you can go with any kind of investments of your choice. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you. There are no more questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I'll have a thank you note. So
Yeah.
I thank you, Dr. Vani ma'am, for delivering an insightful and valuable lecture on financial planning. Your session provided us practical guidance and increased awareness about the importance of financial planning, especially for the women's professional. Your contribution has truly empowered physiotherapists with an essential knowledge for making informed financial decisions. Once again, we sincerely thank you from our team, Networking Committee, Maharashtra State, IAPWC. We thank you, ma'am, and happy Women's Day.
Yeah. Happy Women's Day to all those who are present here. May your day be your day. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
same
you.
to you, ma'am. Heta, ma'am, we have done with it.
Yes, ma'am.